Welcome to the first edition of Ibexa Tech Talks. My name is Jani Tarvainen, and today we'll talk about 100% cloud-based headless development with Ibexa DXP. So first, a quick word about Ibexa DXP. It's our unified digital experience platform, which allows you to build all sorts of experiences, but we currently focus on the B2B market. Traditionally, you would develop using full stack, using the Symfony framework, but recently we have had a surge in customers using our headless APIs and different tools and stacks to build their systems. So let's get started. If we take a quick look at the example project we'll be working with, this is our sales demo. It's a pharmaceutical company, which we have here some medical devices, consumer health products, and so on. This is traditional server-based rendering using our Ibexa cloud service. So this is running on the cloud. And here, for example, if we take a look at some of the products, we have here an individual product, and this is going through the standard development stack. So this, as I said, from the back end, it looks like this. We have our admin running in the cloud, and here we have the example of our new feature, which is the product attributes. So you can have different type of product attributes for the e-commerce, and there's obviously a whole lot of new things as well in 4.1, our latest release. But this discussion isn't really focused on this. As said quickly, our backend is running on the Ibexa cloud platform, so this is a purely hosted cloud, and you don't need to really focus on it that much. I will close these individual tabs as we go. So the next part here, since we'll want to take a look at cloud development, this is obviously done using APIs. In this case, we'll take a look at how the product GraphQL API works. In this example, I've taken the liberty of using the GraphQL Online, which is an online GraphQL client, which you can use. And in this case, we're crafting a standard GraphQL query for self-care medicines. Then we're getting the product code, the name, then we're getting also the description of it, one small image, and attributes, and so on. This is obviously something which in the headless space is pretty standard and has been the same for maybe 5 years or more. Obviously, improvements coming slowly but surely. But today, what we really want to discuss is also moving the development process outside of your local environment. So on this laptop, I don't really have anything running regarding development. What we're going to take a look at this today is Stackblitz. This is an online development environment which runs completely in the browser. It's quite popular. You have a lot of different JavaScript frameworks here, and you have a number of different tools that you can kind of kick off a project. We'll be using one example here. One notable thing also regarding front-end development trends is Vite, which is the latest generation of really kind of front-end tooling. So this is one which is similar to Webpack and so on, but it's even more performant, and it's actually nowadays written in Rust. So when we go forward, you can see that running these applications using Rust is quite fast. So for example, if we kick off one example project here, so now Stackblitz kicks off everything. So it kicks off the editor, which I imagine could be a VS Code. It looks a lot like it. Then you have here the editor windows. Then you also have a terminal. This terminal is running, somewhere. I'm not sure if it's running on my local browser or whether it's running on their servers. But in any case, so now our new React boilerplate has kicked off. You can see the result here. And from this, you can see that this one runs actually using Vite. And here we have the standard source. If we take just a quick look at modifying, let's say, the app.js, JSX to say hello world, and then you observe, and the developer experience is really good. It's fast and so on. So it probably has some deficiencies compared to Webpack, but it's really quite impressive. And you can also use it obviously for local development, but in this case we'll use Vite on Stackblitz. So here, then moving forward, we'll take a quick look at, for example, border 42px solid orange as an example of, we can also do styles and everything. But as said, that is the feature that we'll be using today from Stackblitz, and this is our IDE. And of course you can also save, for my code will be running on or be stored in GitHub, so all of that is completely in the cloud. There's nothing on my local environment. So I will close this window now. I won't store this. Again, Vite, next generation front-end tooling, could be good for you, or if you want to stay with Webpack, that's fine as well. Then the next step which we'll use is Astro, which is one type of static site builder, so static site generator. So this one takes some data, then processes it and creates a bundle of static HTML files. Again, here you could accelerate with some of the themes here which you have, and so on. So this again has nothing directly to do with Ibexa DXP or in fact any API or anything. So you can use it with other tools as well. But in this case, let's take Astro as kind of something which I've never tried before, but it's basically generates pages. So then, as you can see now, we have these different tools. And then if we jump into my actual example, so this is Stackblitz, and it's running a starter project of Astro here on Stackblitz, and I've done a quick integration to the GraphQL API that we have running on the cloud. So our cloud development instance will be talking to our Ibexa cloud instance, and there's nothing really running on my local environment. So here, obviously now the preview here is more visible. You can do some basic things like resize. You can also see then the web container IO. So this real browser window here, and it's running our complete thing. And again, due to the Vite, and I can maybe put here and Astro. So then you can store these. Then you could fork this code, save it. As said, this was on GitHub currently, and for Astro, the basics. So the site generator, written in JavaScript. You have some template files, which then loop. In this case, just something coming in from our GraphQL API. So you can see these coming in from here. And technically, if you want a new developer to start working on this project, you could just share this project, and no local development or updates are needed. And then once I will also link the sample of this code, so you can actually run it on your local as well, or not on your local, but in your own browser session, and try it for yourself to see how it works. But let's just take a quick look at how it works. So here, the basic thing, this is just the default one. So here we have the main page. I only have the main page now. We see that we have a title, then we have the thumbnail image, and then a description here. And these were for the products coming from my Ibexa DXP installation. And they are then looped here in this template, which uses a component. In this case, it's a card component. And within card component, you can then see, you can send in information, templating, pretty standard things for people who are used to working with React or other similar frameworks. So let's just take a quick look at the integration using GraphQL. So I have a small library file here. So this is just hard-coded to have our Cloud API here. And then we have our Fetch API, which is a very straightforward way for us to now make a GraphQL query call. And the GraphQL query itself is what I could take a look at in the GraphQL API. So I don't need to write it here, but there I can get it quite easily. Also, again, if you would need to get some more packages using package.json or npm, you could get other packages here into this cloud environment as well. But yeah, this is the API. It's just some wrapper code and then some example code here running and doing a fetch for this data. And then outputting the data is simply including the API, then getting all of the items, in this case being from our product catalog feature over GraphQL, and then just looping through cards and so on. So here, if we want to do some development work, we can just go here. Let's say we don't want the arrow there. You can see it refreshes, it fetches the data from there. And again, if we mistype this one to be something else, then it will fail, which is as it should be. So that's you know, some full stack development technically here from just the API. So you don't need to have any knowledge on our Ibexa DXP native stack. So this, as I said, is just a quick example of how development itself is also moving towards virtualized environments instead of just the applications themselves. So I'm sure this trend will be stronger. There are other options as well in addition to Stackblitz, and we don't really favor any of them. So with Ibexa DXP, you're free to use whatever technology stack for your development, both headless or full stack development. But yeah, that wraps it up. I will add details to the link to this example into the comments or description actually, and we'll be back with more information on how you can use Ibexa DXP to power your B2B projects. Thank you for your time.